Entitled mother-in-law accused me of cheating, lost my husband, my daughter, and everything. I'm 46F, and my ex-husband is 45M. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21. I loved both of them dearly, and we've been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights, and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again to see her outside our house. For years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started to blame me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her, and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun, and I got promoted at work. I still miss my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend, and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have one after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it, and now I'm hearing my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologized so many times. I told her we could meet tomorrow. Yesterday, I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and left them there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me an a-hole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable, that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet, and I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there. Not yet anyway. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. Edit. I didn't make it clear about my daughter's custody. Her opinion mattered in court since she was 17 during the divorce. Although the divorce was about me allegedly cheating, my ex and I agreed to keep that apart from the actual divorcing process. Split what we needed to split and let our daughter choose who she wants to be with. She wanted to live with her dad, and I agreed. She was strongly adamant about not seeing me, so I allowed my ex to have full custody, leaving me with visitations. Not only that, I needed to find an apartment. I had to move outside the house. I was living off couch to couch in my relatives' homes. I didn't have space for her, and my ex mentioned it in court. It was the main reason why she was granted to stay with her father. I was under stress, and I was not mentally well. I signed off on my rights. I looked like a mess in court, too. There was also a lot more going on during the time. First update. Within the last few days, a lot of stuff came out, and I'm beat. First of all, thank you for the support and advice. There were so many, but I decided to follow the ones I thought fit best for me and my daughter. 2 days ago, I texted my daughter to set some boundaries after the ambush attack at the restaurant. As we were talking, she mentioned new information about my ex and why he chose his mother's side over me. Earlier that morning, his mother confessed that she had paid an ex-friend of ours to lie directly in my ex-husband's face, claiming to be my affair partner. Mind you, I never had cheated in the first place. My ex took that as solid evidence and divorced me because of it. His mother is a master manipulator and had him around her finger throughout his childhood, so I'm not surprised why he'd take her side. He didn't know that the confession was fake until a few days ago. I wasn't even aware of the entire thing for 4 years. No one had brought it up to me. My daughter gave me the silent treatment. My ex's mother obviously wouldn't tell a thing to me and probably told my ex-husband to keep quiet and to only focus on the divorce. I'm still really saddened, but everything makes sense. I was so mad at him for leaving me over her word, but it was much more than that. Besides that, I decided to give my daughter another chance. She will not know where I live or any personal information to indicate where I am. I'm keeping low contact with her. I don't want her spreading it to her father or other people. I'll only show up during important events. Graduation, weddings, etc. I know my ex-husband will also attend. If that's the case, then so be it. I requested my daughter to put her father on the phone. He, of course, apologized so many times and hoped we could have another chance as well. He said he'd do anything to make it up and that he loves me. I said no. I explained that I was keeping him in no contact and that I was heartbroken when he didn't communicate to me about the cheating allegations and only assumed. I was practically homeless for a short time and needed to see a therapist to help move on. I wanted to be left alone and am currently not interested in another relationship. Then I gave him a new email in case of emergencies directly involving our daughter. Anything else I will discard. That was the only time I spoke to him in the past 2 days. I've been talking to my daughter, setting boundaries and whatnot. She gave small updates about what was going on with her side. They want no contact with my ex's mother, so that's good. I told her never to contact that woman again. She also apologized about her behavior at the restaurant and said that it wouldn't happen again. I understand that emotions were running high and everyone was tensed. I forgive her. I still really love her. Mistakes can happen. Now, a lot of you said to sue my ex's mother. I spoke to my therapist about it earlier today. She said it wasn't wise to do so. It'll put more emotional distress on me, and I might have to see her again and may relapse into a depressive state. I really don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that woman again. All I want to do is focus on myself and on my daughter. I want to rebuild our relationship, and it will be ruined if I do something drastic, as in suing my ex's mother. I won't be pressing charges unless something else happens to the point where police are involved. That would be different. Other than that, I'm taking a break. My daughter can text me anytime she wants, but I did say that I may not always reply since I want to remain in low contact as of now. Second update. From OP Daughter. My mom posted about her divorce with dad because of his mom. I'm their daughter. My mom recently made 2 posts about our family. I'm their 21-year-old daughter. I'm going to explain my side of things. Yes, I've been given permission from my mom to post this. There were a lot of things she neglected to say on her part. This is how I interpreted what happened on my side since you'll be quick to blame. 5 years ago, when I was 16, my dad called me. He said he was at his mom's house and that I needed to pack my things so he could pick me up. He told me that my mom had cheated on him and now he was going to divorce her, so I did exactly as I was told. I was really mad at mom for doing such a thing. I thought they were inseparable. I was surprised. I thought they loved each other. And when mom was accused of cheating, I resented her. I called her really hurtful things that I regret saying. I left to stay with dad. The entire time, I refused to talk to mom during the divorce. I really hated her. I truly did. During the time, I was with dad and my grandma. I met her a couple times, and my mom openly hated on her. I didn't know why. She seemed sweet and supportive, helping my dad get through. She bought me presents and let me live under her roof. She was a stereotypically loving grandma. Mom ended up moving out so we can have the place back. In court, I favor my dad's side, and it was approved. I refused to contact my mom. It was like she didn't even try to fight to be with me. I was still really angry at her. Dad was crying on some days. He was really stressed and sad. She did too, but I thought it was the guilt of being caught and now having nowhere to go and being divorced as a consequence. There were a few times where I wanted to call her, shout at her, hate her. I didn't. For the next 4 years, it was me, dad, and grandma who occasionally visited. She showered me with gifts, always expressing how she finally got to meet her grandbaby. She spoiled me. Dad was still sad for like 3-ish years before meeting another woman, and they started dating. That's when everything turned upside down. He and grandma would start getting into fights about the new girlfriend. She would threaten to harm himself and call him a pathetic excuse as a son. She knocked stuff over and constantly broke things when she didn't get what she wanted. She even threatened to hurt me sometimes and steal things away from me. Dad hardly ever brought his girlfriend over because of her. Grandma kept visiting almost daily. She was super obsessed over dad and the new girl. Now repeat that for 5 months straight until she snaps. Another fight, then she confessed. I was in the other room when she screamed about how she did everything to get mom away from him so she could have him all to herself. And now the new girlfriend is stealing him away. That's when I decided to call mom to tell her what happened. I was scared. The next day we agreed to meet a restaurant. I told dad about it afterwards, and he insisted on coming with me. I wasn't sure at first, but he convinced me to let him come. He was desperate and even broke up with his girlfriend over the phone. So I brought him with. I didn't tell mom, and when she came and saw us, she was uncomfortable and left after dad was practically begging on his knees. I ended up calling her an asshole. I was stressed and overwhelmed. I blurted out something I didn't mean. I get why she left. There was no excuse for my behavior. I started spam calling her and texting her constantly, trying to get a response from her. Some messages weren't nice. I was not thinking properly. Dad was bawling and started saying some depressing thoughts about how he hated himself and that he wished he was dead. I panicked like, what am I supposed to do? The next morning, grandma came to the house while mom was sending me long-ass paragraphs about wanting to have a relationship again, but needing boundaries. The two were arguing downstairs until grandma admitted to fabricating the affair confession. She paid someone $500 to tell dad his wife was cheating on her with him. So obviously, I texted mom about it while dad kicked her out, screaming that he never wanted to see her again and that it was all her fault. For the next day and a half or so, mom and I communicated with each other. I apologized to her about my recent behavior. It was super uncalled for, and I do really regret saying those things. At one point, I gave my phone to dad so the two could talk privately with each other. Mom wants to keep low contact, which I agreed to. Dad was upset that she wouldn't take him back. I learned mom is seeing a therapist and went to see her earlier today. I haven't seen grandma since dad kicked her out. He has been saying she's been trying to call and text him like every hour. Yes, I'm still living with dad. I'm in community college. It's only a half hour away, so I stay home. I came across mom's Reddit post on TikTok like 3 times. There are some comments about me that I'm really upset about. Do you not understand abuse victims like JFC? I had to put up with my dad's constant depressing behavior and my grandma's gaslighting, love bombing tactics. I'm happy to be in contact with my mom. I never contacted her before because my grandma said negatives about her. I thought Mom was the controlling one. She wasn't. At all. I regret my choices, and I'm willing to fix them, and she is willing to give me a chance. You don't know our family. Stop acting like you do. Last update. It's been a roller coaster. My daughter had posted her side of the events, which I did not realize how crappy the post really was until you guys pointed it out. We decided to speak about that more in family therapy, and she apologized for it. She logged out of the account and isn't using it anymore. I'm paying for our family therapy and individual therapy. I said that as long as she goes to school full-time, I will be financially supporting it. I think we have grown a lot in therapy. It's only been a few months, and we're able to express our feelings without the other judging. About my ex-mother-in-law, a month prior, she got arrested for drug possession. I literally have no clue what happened on her end, but my daughter messaged me about it. From what I could gather, she got caught with drugs at home and is still behind bars. No one bailed her out. I chuckled when I found out. It was a pleasant surprise. About my ex-husband, I know he has been spiraling, and I think after his mother got arrested, he snapped. He started getting drunk and verbally aggressive towards my daughter. It's been happening for roughly 2 months, so I requested that my daughter would live with me since I do not feel comfortable with his behavior. I was right since his verbal aggression turned into physical abuse. He hit my daughter. While he went to work, I came back to the house. It was emotional. Not many things were changed except no family photos, and the furniture was rearranged. I helped my daughter pack all of her things along with important documents, and we fled. I turned my office area into her bedroom, and she's been staying with me for a week now. I've been driving her to school, and now this week is her last before she's out for summer break. It was awkward at first. I wanted to keep low contact with her, but I couldn't let her be abused and have the police do very little about it. We made a report, but I don't think much will be done about it. My daughter and I have been doing little things at my home, watching television together, driving her to school, and preparing meals for her. We're going slow, but we're bonding, and our relationship is growing. She's a lot quieter nowadays. She used to be so outgoing, but I know this is taking a toll on her. I'm glad she's willing to be in therapy. I suspect she has depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Safe to say it's a happy ending.